Back again for another video. On today's topic, we will be talking about standards versus requirements. And of course, this is in reference to female behavior, female nature. Now, as you know, I like to preface my videos with some definitions, of course, so that we are on the same ground framework about what it is that I'm going to talk about. I'll make this really briefly. Standards are necessary to create a quality product. Requirements, on the other hand, are very different. They are the things necessary in order to make a product. While both are entangled in the creation of a quality product, one does not guarantee quality. That would be the requirements. You can have all the requirements in the world for a certain criteria of a product being made, but if you don't have standards, there's no assurance that the product will be of quality, right? In the way that females operate these days, as the title says, she has a lot of requirements, but she ain't got no damn standards. This is the reason why she has the problems that she has. Whereas men, on the other hand, they have a lot of standards, but a lot of them don't have requirements. This is a game that we play, men and women. But of course, like I said, I'm here to talk about the women's portion of it. Maybe I'll talk about the men's portion of it another day, when I've thought more deeply about it, of course. The reason why I'm able to talk about women so freely and so easily is not because I dislike them or I have something against them. It's because I deal with them regularly. And that's not to say that I don't deal with men regularly. It's to say that I have more deeper, intimate understanding of them due to the frequency in which that I deal with them. I don't deal with men to a more than superficial level at many cases. I don't have any type of, other than my family, of course, close friends, but men generally, no, I don't. I think most men, in my opinion, need to do better. But like I said, that's another story. So my philosophy on women is based upon my deep interactions with them. And these are the things that I see. I see women that have a lot of requirements. And what are these requirements? These things are, once again, the things that are necessary to create a product. Because let's face it, most women of today's standards, especially in the Western world, are very superficial. They have a very top layer approach about how they view things. And I don't mean top layer as in they just see something and react. It means that they don't have a specific emphasis on making sure that they go a little bit deeper than the surface level before they make life-altering decisions. And that's not to say there aren't women that do background checks and all these other things, et cetera, but this is an evolution due to the Western personification that women have taken upon that is more recent than the history of the women in this country. The United States, of course. It's only been about, 50 years or so that women gain full autonomy that's equivalent to what we consider men to have, right? So this is still new to them socially because there is no perfection that can be achieved in 50 years when it comes to a social advent or a social diagram, or how can I say it? A social shift. right? There are things that are necessary to happen over this course of time before things become polished. So the things that women are constantly coming up are the try and fail stages. They say, let's do 6 figures. Oh, that doesn't guarantee anything. Well, let's try 7 figures. Oh, that doesn't do anything. Let's go to 8. And then they double back and say, well, obviously that doesn't matter so much, right? And then they try things after things after things. But these are just applications of requirements, while not realizing they are not applying any standards. Standards are things that promote consistency. They are the benchmark of the quality control of a product. Meaning that I can go to, let's say, if I buy pencils per se, and I buy a pack of 10 pencils, the standards that the company implemented in regards to making the product quality are the reason why I can expect that every pencil in that pack will be pretty much the same. The same number of, if we're dealing with mechanical pencils, the same number of little mechanical pencils inside of the actual pencil itself, the length of the rubber on the eraser, the length of the overall pencil, down to the micrometer. These things are the same because the company has standards. The standards, once again, are the things that produce consistency. They are the quality control. This is the reason why when you look at a woman's life, you'll see her with this man and that man and this man and that man, right? And none of those dudes will have anything in common. But yet, everyone got the same cookie, right? The reason why is because she has no standards. If she had standards, not only would her success rate go up, but also the type of men would be consistent, right? And usually these standards, and the reason why these women don't have standards in many cases, is because there wasn't a male in their lives to create a standardization of what a man is supposed to be. They have no standards because they weren't given any. I like to believe that, and this isn't a downplay on women's ability at all. This isn't to say that women aren't capable of any type of creation. But I like to believe that most things that are structural frameworks in regards to a woman's discipline comes from a male structure. Whether it be a religion, whether it be a company, whether it be a sports team or, et cetera, et cetera. Rarely, especially if you think about sports, rarely is there a sport that was made for women that then transitioned to being for men. Usually it's the other way around. If you look at most sports, I'm not a, aficionado of sports history, of course, but I think it's very evident to say, nonetheless. So when I look at what women's sports is, I know that it's a derivative from the standards of male sports. Now, if you apply the same concept to many things about women, even their own fashion, it comes from a male structure, comes from male consistency. And once again, this isn't to say that the whole entirety of woman existence is encapsulated by the standards of male structure. It's to say that it accounts for most of it, though. In regards to a woman's discipline and her structural framework, it comes from a man system. My opinion, of course. Once again, just to be clear, this isn't to say that women are incapable of creating standards for themselves. But what I'm alluding to here is that the reason why you don't see any consistency with the majority of women is because there is no consistency with the majority of women having a consistent male structure in their life that is consistent across the board. There are many communities out there that have standards in regards to how the women will operate within their clan, within their culture, community, within their group, wherever. There are many cultures out there that we can study. Most of these cultures, as much as feminists would like to say that everything's patriarchal and therefore going downhill, but the whole entire reason why they even came up with the word, or were able to say the word patriarchy and get away with it in many countries and that they do, is because of male structure. Because we set the standards, again, across the board that say that people have, especially here in America, have the right to say certain things, right? We set the standards. And that trickles down into the individual man. Because the individual man is the one who set the standards for his own household, right? And, we have these different echelons of male patriarchy, if you will, that set standards for the individual, the family, the community, the town, the city, etc., etc. And usually at those heads of where the top level is, a man sits. Usually. This isn't across the board, of course, because we have female elected officials that sit at the top of head of some types of governments, right? So this isn't the thing across the board. But who came before her and paved the way for the standard in which that she follows? It was a man. So when you see a woman who operates solely based upon requirements, and let's just go down what requirements are. We have superficial requirements and we have deep requirements, right? But none of these requirements guarantee a quality product because, once again, they are not the standards. The requirements are superficially. He has to look this way. He has to be this tall. He has to earn this amount of money. This is a woman in which that she says this and require, well, does he require anything about his personality? And she goes, this is the type of woman you want to avoid. Because she has no standards and she will try to make up some on the way to make it seem like she's just not a superficial requiring person. But we can clearly see at that point that she is. But those are the very superficial requirements. The more deep requirements, those things are like, he is on time. He is a man of honesty. The virtues, the values. Once again, these things do not combinate into a quality product. While they are able to create a product, does not guarantee a quality product. And people would ask me, well, how does a man displaying his virtues and a woman requiring that a man has certain virtues guarantee a quality product? How is this not a standard? Because it is not a structure she's used to. If, in many cases, these women, they talk about these qualities in men that they would like to have, but they never experienced those. The last 3 dudes she was with beat her down. You know what I'm saying? So she has no experience with a nice man. But now it is something that she requires. Keyword, requires. It's not a standard. Standard is something that is formed over time with consistency to create quality, right? This is not a standard because there is no consistency. She has no idea what it's like to be with such a man. This is the reason why it's just a requirement, though it's not superficial. And a more deeper requirement, it is a requirement nonetheless, because there is no standard. All right. Now, I would say to men, you should understand exactly what kind of person you are. Are you a man of standards? Are you a man of requirements? Are you a man of both? Because there is, a true man has both. He has his requirements and he has his standards. Right? I'm not going to go too deeply on it because, like I said, we'll probably do it on another video. But nonetheless, making sure that you understand what your standards and requirements are very essential. This is the reason why it's good to have a purpose before a woman, because it'll help you create the standards and therefore the requirements, because men are backwards in that way, if you want to call it backwards. They're opposite to women. That we don't have a lot of requirements, but we have plenty of standards. We know exactly the consistency that we need from this woman. She is consistently beautiful. She is consistently honest. She is consistently nice. She is consistently feminine. But where are your requirements? You have to set a baseline for the things that she is able to do in order to prove herself worthy for the job. On paper, she looks good. Those are the standards. Those are the things that she's worked over time in order to acquire. But does she has the requirements necessary to create a product in the first place? She has the standards to create quality, but does she have the requirements to create a product in the first place? But like I said, that's going to probably be another video. We'll, you know me, I pop in and I pop out, right? Once again, I'm not here for notoriety. And, when I see my numbers start to increase, I kind of pull back a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't, but I don't want to be that guy. But anyways, make sure that you understand what your standards and qualities are. Make sure that you have them in place. Make sure you know the difference. Some things are not requirements, and then some things are not standards. They're either or, right? Make sure that they fit within the necessary things you have to do with a woman. That's my advice. But anyways, like, comment, and share. I haven't put up anything anywhere else, so I won't tell you to check those. I still have a Patreon, but if you new cats that came in want to send a donation, you can sign up for $1 and then see your way out the door if you like, or whatever amount that you want. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not here for the money or notoriety or anything like that. But anyways, this has been Wolf and Beta Close. May you have a good day. And of course, peace be with you.